Hey everybody, Danny Maude here. Thanks for joining us. This week, I'd like to help you try and hit your driver dead straight. It's a really big ask, isn't it? But there's just 3 things that you need to learn. You need to learn how to hit the ball out the middle of the face on a regular basis. If you're hitting it at the heel or the toe, it will make a massive difference to not only the distance you're going to hit the shot, but also the type of spin and accuracy that you get. The second thing you're going to need to learn is how do you square the club face up? If your club face is closing constantly through impact, that's going to affect where the ball sets off, yeah? And clearly, if you open it up through impact, it's going to affect where the ball sets off. So how can you learn to feel square? Yeah, there's one thing understanding what to do, but how do you learn to feel it? We're going to cover that today. The third and final thing is swing path. Where do you swing? If you're swinging this way, clearly, and the target's there, it's going to be difficult to set the ball off straight. Vice versa, if you're swinging over here and the target is here, it's going to affect your accuracy too. So we're going to cover those 3 things. Centerness of contact, how do you square the club face up, how do you feel all these things, and how do you change the path so you can start to hit those balls dead straight. Before we do that, if you're new to the channel, this is one of your first videos, consider subscribing. If you press that subscribe button and the bell, you get to receive videos just like this one every single week, so I can come and help you improve your game. So, where do we start? Well, let's start with what I think is one of the most crucial things, learning to hit the center of the face on a regular basis. Clearly, if you hit the center, you're going to have more distance, but it also has a huge impact on direction. So you need to identify right at the start, where are you actually striking the ball on the face? So most people, most top players know, but most amateurs really they struggle to feel it. So what we do, we grab some, I've got this Dactarin Active Spray Powder. Okay, so it's a foot spray powder, but it gives you an idea of where you're striking it. So you just get some foot spray powder, spray it on the face. It leaves like a powdery coating, as you can see here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to simply hit a shot for you, and we're going to start to identify where I'm actually striking the ball on the club face. So let's have a look at what we got here. That felt for me a little bit on the neck. And here we go, have a look at this. So what can you see? A little bit out of the neck of the golf club. Now, I wouldn't jump on that and change it at all. But imagine now, we just left the powder on there and we just spent a bit of time hitting some shots. That's my first shot of the day. So you might find this as well. You probably need to warm up first before you start spraying the powder on the face. But once you've got warmed up and you start to kind of identify, if you start seeing a consistency of pattern, okay, that felt a bit better. There we go, it exploded the middle of the face. So, but most times I find with a lot of my clients is they're pretty consistent. They're generally down one side of the golf club. Maybe it's the neck of the golf club or the toe of the golf club. So what I want to give you, once you've discovered which one you are, all you've got to do then is literally grab a ball, grab another tee, and what I want you to do is put a tee in the ground, and there's a couple of things you can do here. So let's say you're a neck striker, right? Which most people who slice the ball will be neck strikers. What you do, put a tee peg just outside this golf ball here, and just feel like what you're going to do now is you're going to try and hit the golf ball off the toe of the club. Now the chances of hitting it off the toe are pretty slim. If you're a neck striker, you're going to find it difficult to quickly move it from neck to toe. But if you try, you'll start to move the strike pattern more towards here. So just put a tee peg on the outside of that golf ball here. We're going to make a swing and we're going to try and get towards the toe of the golf club. And your body is an incredible problem solver. So it kind of works out the answers to these questions. So I'm going to try and hit it much more towards the toe of the club. There we go. Okay, and that's the game. Now, what you might find is if you're a heel striker, you take that tee, the second tee out of the ground. No problem. Don't worry about it whatsoever. Just simply, again, peg another ball up. Trust that your body is like it's a game for your body. It's a problem solver as your body. Work out how you're going to start to hit that tee without hitting that tee. Clearly, you can also do the same for your toe strikers. Just simply angle, it's slightly different here, just angle the tee slightly downwards, because it's got to cater for the fact that you've got the shaft there as well. And same principle here, just make a swing backwards and forwards and just avoid the tee on this side. There we go. Okay, so it's simple as that. So that's the very first thing that you want to do. Identify the strike and then simply put a tee peg either side of the club, depending on whether you're a toe striker or a heel striker. It would really, really help. So the second thing we're going to work on is learn to help you square the club face up. Now, the chances are that you're either somebody who slices the ball or cuts the ball, or you're somebody who draws the ball and hooks the ball. Now, if we want to hit the ball dead straight, you need to learn to square the club face up first. Now, what does that mean? Now, this could be a little confusing, so let me explain. If you're a slicer of the golf ball, you'll tend to swing out to in. Now, for right-handers, that means you're swinging out here to the left-hand side. For a hooker, you're going to be swinging more this way and bringing it around here. So the question is, if we want to hit the ball dead straight, watch this. If I'm swinging this direction here, I want the club face now completely straight and square to this path. So the very first thing I want to do is fix the face. I don't want to fix the path first. So most people, when they're trying to kind of fix their out to ins or slices, they try to swing and they'll try to do this motion here, try and swing towards the target. Far, far too difficult. The problem is, if you haven't fixed the face, imagine this, if you haven't fixed the face of the club, so your face is wide open, and then you start swinging this way, goodbye ball. That is going to go so far now to the right of target. So the very first thing you need to do is fix the face before you fix anything else. So we've got the centeredness of contact, and then look, we're not going to fix the out to in now. We're going to simply come out to in, but we're going to keep the club face completely square on that path. So this should basically get a ball that goes straight left of target, but it should be straight. And there we go. So that ball I've come over the top. My path, yes, is incorrect, but the ball has flown dead straight to the left of target. Do not move on at all from this point. Don't move on to path yet until you start hitting the ball dead straight, but left. That means now you're squaring the club face up beautifully to the path that you're swinging on. For those of you who hook the golf ball, the same is true. We're not going to do it here because the tree's in the way, but for those of you who hook the ball, same principle. What you're going to do is the hookers get stuck in here. Rather than, in a sense, at this stage flip, right, and get the club face closing, you're going to learn to hit the ball straight to the right. So you kind of learn the feel of what is square. So yes, you'll hit a few blocks. This is what you do on the range. Feel square. That's stage number 2. Then we then start working on path. So third and final thing is swing path. So many people have struggled to get this right, but let me explain. So the difference between those of you who slice and those of you who hook. So the people who slice have an overactive upper body and an underactive lower body. So they tend to be overactive here and underactive here. The hookers that tend to be more your better players, they tend to have an overactive lower body and an underactive upper body. So I'm going to give you, in a sense, drills now to kind of solve both of those problems, whether you're a hooker or you're a slicer. So, very first thing, we want to have this, for slices, we want to have, in a sense, more activity down here, less activity up here. So grab a golf ball in your lead hand, my left hand, and what I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to turn the golf ball to face the target. So my lead arm now is twisted this way. And what I'm going to do is this gives you the feeling now of this motion there, okay? Because for most slicers, they are twisting this way, yeah? So we've twisted it back. I want you to make a backswing, and all we're going to do now is this. We're going to throw the ball down towards the ground, and basically, we're going to just throw the ball, actually just slightly behind where the ball would normally be at impact, and we're going to throw it backwards at the back of our hand here. Now as that happens, you can see here, my body now hasn't, in a sense, rotated nowhere near enough because I'm throwing it at the back of my hand. So it's a great feeling of, in a sense, getting a sense that the upper body is not active or nowhere near as active through the swing. Let's have another look at that. So taking the ball in the lead hand, turning it to face the target, making a backswing here, and I'm simply just going to throw the ball backwards. Notice this, if I was this in a golf swing, throwing it backwards, look at the difference it would create in that motion. This lead shoulder here isn't being massively active, and neither is the right. A second exercise for the exact same thing here is grab a broom. This horrible old broom can be very, very useful. Have a look at this. So we want, in a sense, to get this lower, so upper part of the body less active for slicers, right? So watch this. I want you to just make a swing, then get the broom back here and start to sweep the floor straight. Sweep it forward. Now, as you notice this, watch this. The handle is ahead and it's going upwards. What's that doing to the lead shoulder? It's going upwards too. What do all over the toppers do? People swing out to in. They come this way. This lead shoulder goes around and the right shoulder comes out. This is a great feeling of sweeping the floor, but also getting that sensation here of what the body's supposed to do in the golf swing if you slice. If you hook, you're going to need to get almost the opposite. You're way too active with your lower part, so what you need to do instead is you need to get the sensation here when you're swinging that your upper part of the body is far more active through the swing. So you're going to stabilize the lower section, and you almost want to feel what slicers do too much of. You want to get yourself set here and rotate the body harder to the left. So you're feeling not this motion, you're actually feeling this motion. Those things will start to change your path. So let's summarize. We have covered a lot, but hitting a driver straight is no mean feat, okay? It's going to take a bit of time. So what have we done? We want to teach you how to hit the center of the club face. The very first thing you need to do is figure out where are you hitting on the club face. Don't rush into this. Warm up before you practice, then spray the face. See if you have a consistency. Most people do. Then most people are either towards the neck, towards this toe, or maybe you're down in the center, whatever. Find out where it is. If it's off the neck, use the tees. Put the tee on the toe side so that in a sense it's forcing you here to hit more towards the center of the club. Remember, your body is a great problem solver. It will work out an answer to this thing. Same, obviously, if you're a hooker, move the tee on the other side of the golf club. Second thing, what we need to be looking at here is getting you squared up, the club face squared up. Don't change the path. So if you slice the ball, you will be coming generally out to win. So we want to start off with, it sounds a bit crazy, but we want to start off hitting straight, but straight left. At least then you've got the club face, the ball's not having any bend, it's going dead straight, but it's kind of squared up and swinging this direction. If you're hooking the golf ball, we know you swing too much to the right, so you need to learn to square the club face up. This way, doesn't matter if it goes right initially, at least you can now feel the club face square. That's stage number 2. Stage number 3, then you've got a sense swing path. And we've got the broom handle drill here, which gives you the sense that you're kind of sweeping up, the left shoulder's coming up for slicers. You've got the backhanded drill for slicers as well here, releasing out the backhand. And for those of you who hook, you've got to stabilize your legs and use much, much more of that upper body through the impact area. Do it in stages. I've thrown a lot at you in this session just so you've got something to practice, but just do it one at a time at a range session. Start with center of the face, then squareness, and then swing path. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and maybe share it with somebody who you think can benefit from some of this information. And of course, look, if it was one of your first videos, consider pressing that subscribe button and the bell so I can look after you next week. But until next week, have a great golfing week.